Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Strong Families podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Jo. And on this podcast, we have real talk with real parents about the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens of family life in the hopes that we can all learn a little something.
That's right. So grab a coffee, strap in, and we hope by the end of this podcast, all of our families have grown a little stronger.
I know I need it.
Uh-huh. Hi, Jo.
Hey, Amy.
We're back.
We are back.
We
Another
are back.
episode.
Yeah.
This has got to be one of my favourite things to do each
Yeah,
week is to
it's
record,
nice.
have a chat with you,
Yeah, it's good.
have a chat with some interesting guests
Yeah.
and hear their stories.
Yeah,
So,
super fun.
Yeah, have you had a good day?
Oh, I had a good day. I've had an interesting day, but
Okay.
we don't need to unpack all of that right now.
Okay. All right. It's not fit for podcast consumption.
Not
hey?
fit for podcast
Okay,
consumption.
right.
Maybe
Okay.
we'll recap that later.
Cool.
But I was very excited about our conversation today.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we're talking about money, aren't we?
We are talking about money.
Yeah, money and
yeah.
family, they unfortunately go
Yep.
together.
They do.
You can't avoid it, can
No,
you?
no.
Yeah. Are you stressed about money in your family, do you think?
I am.
Okay.
Not so much about the general expenses of rent and, well, not rent, mortgage and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Right.
that's
You
good.
strike me as someone
That's
who's pretty orderly.
budgeted.
Mhm.
That's good. But I didn't plan for a $6,500 dental bill that I got a couple of weeks ago for my sweet boy.
The joys.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
don't have private health, so I think we
No.
might look into that.
Yes.
I guess I didn't expect like a financial medical thing to hit us.
Yes.
and
I mean,
so I was
yeah.
not prepared.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I'm a little bit stressed about that. I'm trying
I
not
guess
to be
that's the
stressed,
thing
but-
with money, hey, that it can surprise you
Yeah.
and impact you more than what you were
Totally.
expecting. You're like,
100%. I am a huge fan of having a buffer, like a
Uh-huh.
financial buffer. And I
Yeah.
think just with the way like our mortgages increase and cost of living's increased, that buffer's been going down and down and down.
Mhm.
And so I think once upon a time, this bill would be like, yeah, cool. We got that. Like we've been saving for a rainy day. Right
Mhm.
now,
not so much.
not so much.
Yeah,
But
right.
That's okay.
Okay, well, maybe this podcast episode will
I
be
will
helpful.
Be taking notes.
Yes. So that when the rainy day hits again next time, you're like,
Yeah,
I got this.
I got this. But
Yeah,
what about
nice.
you?
Well, yeah, I guess right now, like financial stress, I'm really blessed to be married to a husband who's very good with money.
He's the money man.
And I think together we are a pretty good team
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And definitely our income has gone up and down over the years.
Yeah, for
That's,
sure.
I mean, that's one of the things with family is the decisions with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go back to work? Do you not? What do you
Yeah.
put your money into? What do you not? So there definitely has been periods of stress. But right now, I thought we were going all right, but I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you something. Yesterday, I fell for an internet scam.
Joanna.
I couldn't believe it.
Joanna.
It was so convincing,
Mhm.
though. Okay, so just to, get
Convincing or
regain
appealing?
some of my ego
Mhm.
again.
Okay.
Some of my credibility.
Yeah.
I am not a silly person.
You're not.
I like to think of myself as a relatively, reasonable
Yes, you are.
person.
Yeah.
Although my sisters did always tell me that I had book smarts but not street smarts.
Okay.
So this could be one of those instances, right?
Yeah.
Good in theory, but not so much
Yeah,
in
sure.
practice. So it was very convincing. It was
Uh-huh.
an ad through social media. I clicked on an ad, took me to a shop, like
Yeah.
a web shop,
Mhm.
and I was having a great time shopping for all things that I
Mm-hmm.
thought were essentials for my children at great prices, 70% off.
So you're being thrifty.
Yeah, I
You-
thought
you're
I was
doing the
being
right thing.
organized. I thought I was
Yeah.
planning for the future, buying my
Mhm.
kids. It was like, it all was like cotton on kids,
Yeah.
logos and products.
Yeah.
And the website was very functional.
Mhm.
And gave them my credit card
Yes, you
details,
did.
checked out, and then realized, like, I just don't know why it didn't cross my mind sooner,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't thinking. But it's all good. Cancelled the card.
Yep.
I've disputed the thing.
But now you've got to change your card details on every automated payment.
Yes.
and-
Which
well,
that's
yeah.
not super fun, but
Super fun, but
that's okay. I'm changing
okay.
passwords everywhere as well, just in
yeah,
case.
just in
So
case.
anyway, all to say, money is fun, isn't it?
Money is the funnest.
So interesting.
So fun. So today we had a chat with a good friend of ours, James, and he is actually on the other side of financial stress.
Mhm.
So that's our on the other side of title today.
That's right.
And he has been married for 20 years. and 18 of those years, he would say he has been poor. Their family has been poor. And it was really, really awesome to hear him share tips about how they got through those 18 years of paying their bills with 4 kids. They have 4 kids. So yeah, anyway, it's a really, really insightful chat. I'm very excited to listen back and take in those tips for myself.
I think it'll really help people, whether you are struggling right now with your money or whether you've got it pretty covered. I think he gives really practical insight.
Yeah, he does.
And it kind of it inspired me to go back and look at my money a bit more closely and find ways that I can tighten up or earn more.
Yeah.
So yeah, have a listen.
Have a listen. Enjoy.
Well, hello, James. Welcome to the Strong Families podcast.
Hi,
We're
it's great.
Happy to have you here.
Would you believe it? This is my very first podcast ever.
Ever.
I've never podcasted.
We're old
sound
hands
very
at this
confident.
now,
Yes.
so, we can help you through it. No, it's so fun to just have a chat, get to
Good.
know you a bit more, and have our listeners get to know you a bit more
Yeah,
too,
good.
your story.
Come on.
So we always start off our podcast by asking people, what is your family snapshot? Tell us a bit of your family.
describe.
Well, I know you want to start, but let me start.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I'm really proud of this podcast.
Oh, thanks, James.
I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
And from our audience and people that are leaning in, and I want to commend you.
Oh.
Now, let me answer your question.
Okay.
Our family snapshot. So I am American, born in the United States.
Yep.
Came to Australia when I was 21. Married to an Aussie girl from Mackay. And
Can't get much more Aussie than
No,
that.
yeah,
Mackay.
Mackay is pretty Aussie. We call her a bougie bogan. Because
Great.
Paula likes upper class things, but she's deep down a girl from Mackay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And she is wonderful. And we've got 4 kids. And our kids are Judah, who is 15 years old, Joel, who is 13 years old, Jemiah, who is our first daughter, she is 11, and Yana is our baby at 9 years old.
Nice.
And so we have a very full house.
Yeah.
In fact, some people were like, "What do you do? How do you do 4?" And to be honest with you, I wouldn't not want to have 4. Like the idea of not.
Agreed.
Can I tell
Are
you,
you
like
listening to us, Amy?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
great.
listening. I hear you.
I love having such a big house.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're teenagers and they need to go to youth and they need to go to sport and touch football in Madagascar,
Yeah.
play and
Okay, I was like, Madagascar.
No, there's a
country?
Madagascar.
Who's going to Madagascar?
so they have to go to all these different. Now that is getting annoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man,
But
I
soon
just
one of
love
them
it.
will be driving, and then
Yes,
will eliminate
yes.
some of that.
Judah will be driving.
Yeah.
He gets his learners this coming Christmas.
Oh, amazing.
So then we've got a year of 100 hours.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, fun.
That's right, but then he can drive everyone.
Yeah.
It's true,
after
but then
that.
you have to trust your favorites in the hands of a 17-year-old driver,
Yeah.
which
okay.
is also
okay, that's awesome.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
haven't
super fair.
factored in that stage of
I trust
parenting.
Yeah.
Penny. I trust girls. Like
Okay.
girls, like
I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't trust her driving, but I get it. She is a very responsible eldest
Like,
child.
Yeah.
at 17,
sure.
I think girls are just different than dumb boys.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poor boys.
Poor boys.
Totally. Now, were the J's intentional?
The J's were not intentional for the first 3. It was accidental, and we
Yeah.
were actually going to name Yana Hannah.
Oh, right.
And Jemiah and Joel were like, "She's got to have a J name."
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
we went with Yana.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I always wondered.
Yeah, Jolie was going to be Seth.
Okay.
Judah was always going to be Judah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jemiah, we just love the name Jemiah.
Yeah.
It's a female
Good.
version of Jeremiah. And
Perfect.
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. So cute. What's the best thing about having kids in your mind? What's your favorite thing?
That's good.
Yeah.
Being a dad, I tell you, when I first had kids, I didn't realize this. It was actually my worst thing. It was just how much hard work it was, and it really confronted my selfishness.
Yeah.
We've been
We've
talking
been
about
talking
that
about
a lot.
this.
So your sleep, your money,
Yeah.
your time. I want to go
Yeah.
to a cafe. You're ruining my experience.
Yeah.
And now, I love what being a dad has made
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I understand love better.
Mm-hmm.
My love for Paula was always strong, but when you have children, you just understand love, you understand life, you understand, and it really helps you get over yourself. Which now I actually think I'm a better human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. It definitely changes you when you become a parent, for sure.
Yeah. Now, you guys have just been on big holiday to the US.
Yeah.
See the family.
Yes.
Can you give us some tips on traveling with kids?
Oh my
Because I'm
gosh.
sure there's families out there who look at that and
Yeah.
think, that sounds amazing, but also sounds really hard.
I think the right age
Okay.
is really important. We took Judah to the United States when he was 18 months old.
Okay, how was that flight?
And the flight was, he didn't sleep for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Imagine an 18-month-old who hasn't slept for 24 hours.
Yeah. That would just ruin the next, 3 days.
The problem then also is when they get older, 6 people to go to the United States.
Yeah.
Like, we spent 16 grand just on
Yeah.
airfares.
Expensive, yeah.
So, like, I would have liked to have taken them when they were cheap.
Yeah.
True.
So, you know, what's the
when
trade-off?
they're little, they're free.
we just-
when they're older,
Yeah.
they remember it.
Yeah.
But at
And they
18
sleep.
months, Judah
Yeah.
doesn't remember anything about the first trip.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
not.
So it's like, that was a nothing trip.
Yeah.
It was great for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
he
him
was just-
tagging along.
He was just
Yeah.
carry on. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, awesome.
So, yeah, the timing is pretty important. We wanted to wait till our youngest was of an age that she would remember. And 9 was that age.
Yeah. Well, I'm the only one that doesn't have 4 kids. But
Quitter.
There's still time, Amy. There's still time.
Stop it. How do you protect family time
Oh.
with Paula in the
Yeah.
busyness of life with a family of 6?
So for the longest time in our family, we scheduled our life, what parties we were at, what events we were going to, what sporting activities. Now we have to schedule family time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first rock we put in our week is, where are we going to have our time together?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, that is Saturday or Sunday. Sunday is not so common, but with youth now on Friday nights,
Yeah.
we're now looking for the nights in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paula works on a Monday night, so I have the kids, so that's my time with the kids
Yeah.
on Monday night, and then try to make scheduling those times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to be super organized.
You
don't
do.
Yeah.
you?
Super
I
intentional.
wasn't very organized before having kids, but now I just have to because otherwise.
But your
yeah.
time will go, and then you become resentful or you become distant.
Oh,
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the family, I can feel then when the family hasn't had time together because we just start to become distant from one another,
Yeah.
and that's not the kind of family I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you do that really well.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, you've got awesome kids, awesome family. So this season of the podcast, we've called it On the Other Side. And we're talking to people who are on the other side of something. And we asked you to come and talk about on the other side of financial stress. And I think, some of our listeners might hear that and think, why are they talking about money? Like, this podcast is meant to be about relationships, meant to be about family dynamics. But I was actually doing a bit of research today, and apparently in Australia, 4 in 10 families would say they are experiencing financial stress right now. So, I mean, we all know it, like cost of living, inflation, all of this stuff is putting stress on families. And unfortunately, divorce rates and things like that,
Totally.
a quarter of divorces I read were the money was the key factor in that divorce. So, I mean, we can't deny that money hugely impacts our families. And that's why we wanted to touch on that topic that, money is so powerful for good or for bad in our families. So I know you've got an interesting story, I guess, of overcoming financial stress
Totally.
and living through that and
Totally.
bringing your family through that. So, can you tell us your story?
I could not agree with you more. I think financial stress is probably the one thing that you feel like you can't control. You feel like you are constantly under pressure. If your car breaks down, if oftentimes we can't send our kids to the school that we want to because of money. Oftentimes we don't get the family time we want because we're working overtime because we need the extra money.
Yeah.
I think money puts pressure on every front. And I love this topic because Paula and I have been through this.
Yeah.
We've been married for 20 years. And to be honest with you, I would say we were poor,
Yeah.
like proper poor, for 18.
Yeah.
So it's only
That's
been
a
in the
long
last
stretch.
2 years that I feel like we've gotten on the other side of financial stress.
Yeah.
And it just causes you to make decisions that you wouldn't ordinarily make. When you're poor, you buy cars that then require more money.
Yes.
So we went and bought this van that just was a money pit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was trying to save money on trying to buy this cheaper car, but now this cheaper car just needs so much more upkeep.
Yeah.
Is that the one that broke down in the middle of
In the
Anzac
middle of
Avenue?
Anzac Avenue. It was awful.
Perfect. Oh.
And,
That's like the busiest street.
here I was thinking that we were being responsible. We're not going to get a car loan. We're going to pay cash.
Oh dear.
And I put my family at jeopardy. So,
Oh.
for 20 years, to be honest with you, this has been a tough battle for us.
okay,
and going through all of that stuff has been a real strain on our marriage. There have been times where Paula and I, we've never used the D word in our family. That's just not an option.
Yeah.
But just the intensity of it all. And when you're under financial hardship, it is tough.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
in the early days, we both worked. And
Yeah.
and before children, we worked. And we had a combined income of 70 grand.
Yeah.
Paula was on 40 and I was on 30.
Okay.
And I was young ministry apprentice. You can
Yeah.
call it an apprentice in any field, really.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
The wages are not great.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a late bloomer. And, you
What do
know,
you mean by late bloomer?
sorry, I think, you know, most guys go get their trade at 18,
Right.
19,
Yeah, right.
20.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You
here
came
I
to
am.
Australia.
I came to Australia.
Yeah.
I was a pastor in training at 25.
Okay. Right.
You know, it's like I should have had this locked down by
Yeah.
now, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Right.
Sure.
And so, you know, at the time, Paula earned more money than me, so I felt inferior.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, and I couldn't work full time.
Is that like visa issues?
Yeah, there was a time where,
Yeah.
and then I felt like Paula was resenting me because I couldn't work. So,
Yeah.
Oh man.
so there was a lot of extra pressure there
Yeah.
on our, you know, and then when we combined our bank accounts when we first got married, it was like I was keen because I had nothing,
Yeah.
and
You're
Paula,
like, I'm getting
Paula was
yelled here.
apprehensive, like
Yeah.
I'm now going to hand all this over to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And sharing bank accounts was a very
Yeah.
stressful time for us.
Yeah.
So, you know,
How did negotiating spending go when you first got married? Were
Look,
you super
we were so
open
blessed.
with each other, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we were so blessed. Before we got married,
Mm-hmm.
we were recommended to see a financial advisor.
Good
okay?
advice.
And her name was Esther.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther basically wrote us like the tightest budget. You would feel like your mother and father
Mm-hmm.
are telling you how you can spend money.
Awesome.
And we're 24, 25 years old,
Yeah.
and Esther is telling us how we can and cannot spend money.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we needed it. My family, the Hensleys, we were chronic spenders.
Right.
Paula's family, the Whitbys, were absolutely great stewards.
Yeah.
But on the frugal side
Yeah.
of
Okay.
you know, everything
So
was,
the two extremes.
you know, and so you had a bit of liability,
Yeah.
married to quite conservative.
Yeah.
And so our ways of doing things were so different, and Esther was vital. And so that cost us, I think it cost us $700 per year.
Oh wow.
And we did her for 5 years.
Yeah.
But the training, it's almost like if you put training wheels on a bike for your kid who's learning. We
Yeah.
had to have training wheels on our marriage
Yeah.
in the area of money.
Yeah.
And she was excellent, taught us how to budget.
Oh yeah.
And then not just, and she wrote it to the detail. Like it wasn't just the rent and the groceries, it was the haircuts.
Oh wow.
Eventually, when we got to the bottom of it, we found out how much spending money we had. And so
Yeah.
we were allowed to share $50 a week between the two of us.
That goes quick.
It does.
And
Yeah.
so for us, that's no coffees. That's no, you know, it's like if I didn't bring my lunch today and I went and bought $20 worth of lunch, mate,
That's half
we
your
got
money
nothing
gone.
on the weekend
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
any type of date.
Yeah.
And we were just so broke. And, you know, and then we were trying to save a little bit, you know. At one stage it was $30 a week just so that we could say we were saving.
Yeah.
But that was pretty intense. We tracked everything. We actually had an Excel spreadsheet where we had to write in the week's spending on
yeah.
this and that and the other. Because it's one thing to have a budget, but it's another thing to stick to it. It's
Yeah, of
another thing
course.
to know how much.
Yeah.
And this is back in the day where it wasn't all digitally tracked. You
Yeah.
know, 20 years ago.
Did you actually do everything in cash, like separate it out?
No,
in
we
your
didn't
wallet?
quite
You know,
go
like
that far.
Dave Ramsey, you know,
Yeah.
like a lot it that way,
Yeah.
or no, you just tracked it.
Yeah, we tracked it that way.
Okay, yeah.
I later on, once I didn't have Esther anymore, we did get into the Barefoot Investor.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And
Yep.
to be honest with you, all of our budgeting principles that we learned from Esther, we then were able to apply in how we use the Barefoot Investor principles.
Yeah.
Great.
Which that was also, I could highly recommend that. We didn't quite go down the line of all the insurances and some of the rest of the book,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he
just
kind of goes into investing
in the
and things
buckets
like
and
that
all that
too.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We totally did that, and we do have now kind of a hybrid version of that. We thought we were trying to be clever and go get a frequent flyer credit card. And, you know, because I live I'm from the U.S. and frequent flyers would help us get our family to the U.S. And that turned out to be a real trap.
Oh, okay.
Because we
fees and
wound up,
things,
no, because we wound up putting things on the credit card that we just should not be doing.
Sure.
And when you're tight and you've got no other way to go, you just put on the credit card.
Yeah.
And so we did start to subscribe to credit card debt. And one time we did Afterpay. And there were types of, you know, all those have now, pay later things. And
so tempting.
Such a trap.
So tempting.
Yeah.
It's such a trap.
Yeah. Is there ever a time where you think those things are useful? Like that you would say, oh, a credit card's okay for certain
Listen,
things?
we've been married for 20 years now.
Yeah.
We use a credit card now. And we are undisciplined. We put things on the credit card even now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And the
is it a
fact
little
that
bit
it's right there.
personality,
Yeah,
a
I
little
think
bit?
so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think if I was, you know, married to your husband
Yeah.
and Daniel.
We're pretty good with
Yeah.
We
Daniel-
put everything on the credit card, Dan and I,
Yeah.
but
We don't put
I
extra
think,
things.
I think it's maybe
Yeah.
once in our lives we've paid interest because we forgot to pay it off, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But we've never paid interest because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
just, I don't know, that's how we do it. And
Yeah.
everything kind of goes through there.
Well, things
so
got
we're just
things got
different.
way harder for us
Yeah.
when Paula fell pregnant with Judah.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm on 42,000 now. I got a pay rise from 30 to 42.
Oh, go you.
should
Come
be.
on that.
Everybody's aspiring to be a minister.
Yeah.
That is what everyone
You
wants.
do it for the money, don't you?
100%.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
you do.
pretty sure.
And now Paula, but man, I'm really grateful for the Australian government because, you know, Centrelink to give a parenting payment and family tax benefit was such a godsend to us.
I guess coming from America,
Oh.
where there's
That's not a thing.
nothing
Yeah,
like
my family couldn't
that.
understand that.
No.
They're like, your government is giving you money
Yeah.
to have children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
Even the fact that like the birthing process is free.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
In America, they're in thousands of dollars in debt just to have
I
a
know.
baby,
Have the child.
whereas we can do it for free and then
Imagine
get
having
paid.
a baby and you owe the hospital 20 grand
Or
for a
something.
Caesar
Yeah,
that you and you were, you know,
and
it's
you
like-
didn't even you didn't choose
plan
to
it.
do that. You
Yeah.
didn't
I know.
plan that.
That's wild.
Oh, that is. Yeah,
So
we're pretty fortunate.
We were
aren't we?
very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've lived very tight all of our
Yeah.
Yep.
of our life.
Yeah. Talk to us about buying a house. What's that journey
Okay,
been like
so
for you?
so
Into it.
buying a house for us has, well, first of all, it was inconceivable.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we were not able to save. We were so tight. In fact, when we started talking about buying a house, we said, all right, what if we moved in with Paula's parents, which is a bit of a trap. I think a lot of people like to do that. We moved in for 10 months.
Yep.
That was expensive.
Yeah.
Not financially,
No.
Okay, right.
just
I was
emotionally.
going to say, how much were they charging
No,
you in
no.
rent? Okay.
They let us live in the house, and we were able to save money,
Yeah.
and we were able to get to a reasonable
Yeah.
amount, and we were able to buy a little unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A lot of people want their dream home first go. I would say that's just not possible.
don't do that.
Just get in the door
Yeah.
Yeah.
and hold on to it.
Yeah.
And I would rather live in a smaller home that I was paying off than rent a larger home,
Yeah.
because you know, you don't when you're young, you don't often think 20 years down the
No,
road.
you don't.
You think, oh yeah, but it's so much more comfortable, and you
Yeah.
know. So buying a house was a challenge, but we got in and bought a $239,000 little unit
Wow.
in Mackay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we made a bunch of money on that when we sold it, because the mining boom in Mackay, I think we walked away with 130,000,
Oy.
Great.
which
Very
was great.
good.
We put
Yeah.
that money into another house in Townsville
Yeah.
and lost all of it.
Not so great. That
Not
one.
so
yeah.
great.
Well, actually,
I've heard that one.
Yeah,
what
we-
street was it again?
The street literally, well, the first street was called Paradise Street.
Oh, great.
Yes.
The unit.
Very
It was
positive.
We're going to buy a
amazing.
unit and make
Yeah.
130 grand on Paradise Street, as you do.
Amazing. Yeah.
The other street was literally Payne.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Payne, Payne Street.
Oh, wow.
And so we
That's
lost
not a
every
red
dollar
flag.
that we had, and the idea of buying a house was, again, inconceivable. In fact, we owed ANZ Bank $58,000
Yeah.
on settlement.
Wow.
So we still had a
So then you had a debt but no asset.
right,
no
and so
asset.
we're paying a mortgage for a house that we do not
that
own.
would really suck.
Oh,
It's
my
terrible.
gosh.
Did you feel that was kind of the lowest? Because you had a lot of kids at that point
yes,
too.
we had all
Was that-
four of them.
Yeah.
Okay, you had all
Totally.
4 kids. That
Yep.
was kind of that was the point in your money
Yeah.
journey where
Absolutely,
you were like,
we were
this
at the
is-
rock bottom.
Yeah.
In fact, when we sold that house, we had just moved here to take on this role,
Yeah.
this job, and and so I'm in a new role.
Yeah.
And gee, it's just really been a journey.
Yeah.
Did you
Wow.
just go, okay, we need to look at the books again, just redo everything that we've started at, or did you implement new tools? Like, how do you get from that place?
Yeah. So when
to where you
when
are
Paul
now?
says I've learned to live in lack and I've learned to live in
Yeah.
abundance,
Yeah.
I think for us, all of our young years
Yeah.
of learning to live so
Yeah.
tight, we were fine.
Yeah.
We just learned
You
to
knew
live
you could
tight.
do it.
We could make the
Yeah.
groceries tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have sacrificed holidays, trips for education.
Yeah.
So putting our kids in the right school has been wherever we put surplus money. There was one year where we seriously contemplated taking them out of that school.
Yeah.
But in alignment with our values and what we're just thinking, again, talk about selfishness, right?
Yeah.
You can have a bit more breathing room, but you've got to think about the investment you're making for
Of
your future.
course, Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for us, we just made a decision that sending our kids to the right school was so important. And even if
Yeah.
that meant that we couldn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we couldn't.
Then
And
so
you
be
just
it.
eat pasta.
It was just,
Yeah.
we could not do that. We just couldn't.
Yeah.
And, to be honest with you, I don't mind it because we still buy home brand stuff.
Yeah.
We still, like, now that I'm on the other side of that, and
Yeah.
we're not crying in our squillions, but I'm not tight all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we still live like that.
Yeah,
We
those
give
habits
ourselves a
follow.
weekly allowance. We give ourselves, we budget everything.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't want to get caught out.
I guess you see how easily it can,
You can
you
go
know,
back.
if you just let
Yeah.
loose. that-
Totally.
Absolutely.
yeah, credit cards.
And
can just
undisciplined appetites will
yeah.
get you.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
They will.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that undisciplined appetites often get us more than hardship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We kind of get ourselves there because we just can't control
Yeah.
the desires.
Yeah, I want to keep putting money into this hobby.
Yeah.
I want I play golf. Like that's
Yeah.
what I've always done.
Yeah.
Well, I don't play golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to this gym. I want to go to that. I want I love this hobby and I want to put into that. And
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
My hobbies are touch football for Judah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madagascar
Yeah.
play for
Yeah.
Jemiah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joel touch football. My hobbies
Yeah.
are my kids.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
as challenging as that is,
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it.
Yep. Worth it for the future.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Give us some advice then for people listening to this who go, okay, that's inspiring. I want to get from where I am to a bit of a place of freedom where I'm not stressing all the time about money. Is there just some core principles that you've lived by? Like you've talked obviously about
Yeah.
budgeting
Yeah.
and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but are there other core principles you've lived by that have helped you get to that
Yeah,
point?
look, I've written down a couple of things here. The very first thing, I think every husband and wife need to be on the same page with your
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
Your goals are super important. If you have a goal to go on an annual overseas holiday, great. If you're both in alignment and you're working together
Yeah.
towards that goal, and that's something that young couples can do. If you have a goal to buy a house, I look at major expenses like a car, university, house deposit, a wedding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those things are all quite expensive. And can I tell
Yeah.
you, the hardest one to get is the house deposit.
Yeah.
Right.
Going overseas, you can do that.
Yeah.
You'll pull the wedding off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because it's got
university-
a date that you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
You're doing
And
it, so you're spending.
You're doing it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get a car. You can get
Yeah.
you can get a car loan.
Yeah.
University, but getting a house is so hard. And so I think when a couple are on the same page and we both know that we're working towards that same goal,
Thing, yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
And then because we work on the same goals, we do set that budget. Paula and I made a rule in the early days that we could not spend more than $50 unbudgeted without talking to the other person.
Good rule. Yeah.
So if I wanted new shoes or I wanted to play golf, or we could not do it. It was a breach of relational trust.
Yeah.
If we did it
Yeah.
without, she couldn't go get her nails done,
Yeah.
and we would talk about it. And
Yeah.
we would sit down and she would go, hey, look, I've got this event coming up and I'd really like to get my nails done. And
Yeah.
and we said, all right, well, let's work together towards
Yeah.
the goal. And so, our
It's like
budget.
that transparency.
It is,
Like
and it
we
builds
have a budget
great-
because it allows us to be transparent. We're not hiding little
Yes, no
expenses
hiding, no
away.
separate accounts.
Yeah,
We
none
both
of-
have access to everything.
None of that online shopping and the parcels.
Hey, totally. And praise
Yeah.
God, we got all this settled before
Yeah.
Amazon.
Oh, great.
Oh,
All right, there was
man.
no
Very
Amazon
good.
in our day.
It changes things.
It does.
It does.
Yeah,
I
you're
find
like,
I'm
click.
not a big spender, but when I'm scrolling late
Yeah.
at night, up with
Just
the
feels
baby,
easy.
3 a.m. in the morning, sometimes my impulse control
Yep.
is not as good.
$50 rule could be good, Jay.
Yeah,
The
maybe I should.
The $50 rule for us, and now we don't have that rule, but we both trust each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Paula came home and bought something that was $500, she had. By the way, I also don't like it when one partner controls the other one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there
that's
is
a recipe
there is.
for
Yeah. mhm.
So I know
and
some people
things.
that like give their wife allowance.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, mate, Abraham called and said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out
like,
with that. Yeah,
get,
no.
like, where are you, mate? Are you like in the
Yeah.
old? Are you a Genesis
Yeah,
living
yeah,
kind of
no.
like? Are you from Genesis?
How
Yeah.
many centuries ago are you living?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's 2023.
You give your
guys.
wife allowance just because she doesn't earn, mate. She should have full access to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a team.
You are a team,
Yeah.
and I hate it when guys give their wife or women give their
Yeah.
husband an allowance.
Yeah,
no,
unless
this is
it's
our.
like a mutual thing. Like
Well, that's
we're
right. So
both
this is what-
spending this
totally.
much
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page. We're
Yeah.
working together.
Good.
We're submitted to each other,
Yeah.
and we're aligned in our goals.
Yeah.
And there have been moments, and that takes real humility
Yeah.
because you're not pushing your own way, your own rights.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say beyond the budget, I would say you need to stick to it. It's one thing to do budgeting with
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah.
You go do Bradgeting.
Budgeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew
It's-
Bradgeting would get into this episode somehow.
If you don't do budgeting, there's no point of having an Excel spreadsheet on
Yeah.
your computer that you
Yeah.
never
You
reference.
gotta
True.
stick to it.
Yeah.
And then if you don't go align all of your bank accounts with your budget,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's futile.
Yeah.
Right.
So for us, we had to really, we had to document it. We wrote
Yeah.
it down. If she spent money, we kept. One of the great things that helped us was we kept receipts,
Mm-hmm.
and receipts can help you track your spending.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's moments of accountability. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what's that one over there?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy once you look at your spending, you go, oh, I didn't realize I spent that much on food or,
Totally.
yeah, those
Yeah, oh, man.
miscellaneous items.
The amount of stuff we spend on eating out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The amount,
Mm-mm.
and
We
I
can't do
get it when you work till 6, and you're picking up the kids from daycare, and it's like, do I really want to go home and work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of money that people would spend on alcohol and not
Yeah.
realize.
Mm.
The amount of money that people would spend on, just eating out at lunch or coffee.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like you go get your daily coffee at your daily coffee shop, and you
Yeah.
know I really want people to do that here at Sanctuary
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah. Sanctuary
Yeah.
Coffee, please.
But at the same time, don't ruin your
Yeah.
family for coffee.
Of course.
That's
You know,
right.
$5 every day is
Adds up.
$25 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I look at that gym membership that's $25 a week and I think, oh, can't
that's a
fit
bit
that
much.
in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just funny how if you track it, then you
Yeah.
go, what's my priority? Do I want the coffee every day or do I
That's
want the gym
right.
membership?
That's
Which one
right.
is my priority right now? And I'll-
Yeah.
maybe it is the coffee. That's okay.
That's
but
okay.
I won't
Yeah.
then mope about not having the gym
Exactly.
membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If number 3 is stick to it, then number 4 I would say is don't resent your situation.
Right.
Okay.
I know a lot of people, if you are in hardship, you can resent the fact that you just don't have what everybody else
Yeah.
has.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Bible verse that says, "Don't despise the day of small beginnings."
Right.
And I'm glad that Paula and I went head down, bum up, and just worked on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because 20 years later,
Yeah.
we're now not in that spot.
Yeah.
Could have been a completely different story.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Because you would have had friends when you first got married. Did you have
Man,
couples
all
that
my
were
friends
on
buying
great
houses
money?
and- Totally.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that super
I had friends that were
hard?
on 200 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to be joking,
Yeah.
mate. We together, we were scratching 70, 75.
Yeah.
I reckon the power band, it's really hard for a family to be under 100 combined.
Yeah.
And you're like 100. It's like, good God, how do I do
Yeah.
that? Especially if you're a single mom
Yeah.
or a single dad. How
How
could
do
you
you
do
do
that?
Mm.
And that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I would then say number 5, don't keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's a tricky
That
one.
is really.
So you're talking about your mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be appreciative of your story and your situation,
Mm-hmm.
but then don't keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Right.
The Joneses are going on holiday over there.
Yeah.
We are not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Joneses send their kids to that school. the Joneses just got the new car. I
Yeah.
drive a 2009 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
I paid $8,000 for it
Yep.
6 years ago,
Yep.
It's
secondhand.
been worth it.
And-
Yep.
Weight in gold.
And can I tell you, I'm so glad I bought that car.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that Toyota's, like, I've always wanted to have a Beamer.
yeah.
My car is I would rather have a 2009 Beamer or a 2009 Mercedes,
Yeah.
but buying a Toyota,
Yeah.
it's not going to break.
Yeah. No.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
it's not
They're
going to be
very
expensive
reliable.
if I have to
love
fix
my
it.
Toyota.
So
Yeah.
what car you drive is so important.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
6, I would say watch the debt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay out of debt. Stay away from it. It's a demon. It will
Yeah.
suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
Credit cards, Afterpay, any of those have now pay later schemes. We stayed away from car loans. The only car loan, we ever pursued was Nissan was trying to stimulate sales, and they
Yeah.
offered 0.1% financing.
Well, that's pretty good.
Oh no,
It's pretty
point
great. Sounds good.
0.1. So
Yeah.
we did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Great.
But to be honest with you, I just think it's another yoke over your head. I'd rather
Yeah.
save and buy cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
There was a time where we were a one-car family.
That's tricky.
It is
that
tricky. We didn't
It's
have a lot
really
of kids in
tricky.
those days,
Yeah.
so
that
so
helps.
we were smart about that.
Yeah.
7, keep exploring avenues for additional income.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
We love
And-
a side hustle.
And we do
Yeah,
love
you do
side
need a
hustle,
side
yeah.
hustle, and so there are other things that you can do that that can generate extra income.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I'm not overly creative, so I'm not gonna, I'm not real good at. I don't love essential oils, so I'm not gonna go sell essential
You're not
oils.
joining a pyramid scheme.
I didn't want to do a network. By the way, I have no problem with network marketing or any of that
Yep.
stuff. I tried to do it when I was young as
Yeah.
a side hustle,
Yep.
Okay.
and I found it made me very manipulative with all of my friends and family. And so
Yeah.
I wanted everyone to get into my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're actually, mate, you're not supporting me.
Yeah.
And like, what's wrong with
kind
you?
of blurs the
Yeah.
line
It does.
between your
And people are like,
own-
no, mate, we just want you
Yeah.
to be our friend. We don't want to
Yeah.
be in business in your side
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah.
And so,
Nothing worse than being invited to something and then you get there and you realize,
Totally.
oh, they want me to
Yeah.
buy something and now I have
Yeah.
this real sense of guilt if I'm not buying in. So, yeah. I
how's
get what
this?
you're
We
saying.
went to
Yeah.
a financial planner one time,
Uh-huh.
and we were like, we don't know how to make this work.
Okay.
And he looks it all over. He goes, you can't make this work.
Oh wow.
Thank
How
you. How
encouraging.
much is this bill that you're going to give me?
that
Yeah, he was a
advice.
good
Give me
guy.
that
He did it
advice.
for me for free.
Oh, good.
He goes, James, you can't save 10 more grand. There's not 10 grand to cut out of your budget.
Wow.
You're better off going and making 10 more grand.
Yeah,
Right.
wow.
And so then I was like, oh, okay, how could I do that? And what?
Yeah.
And you try so many little random things and they don't work. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to align with who you are.
Yeah.
A part-time job is also
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
Yeah.
If one of you needs to go do a side job.
Yep.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah, I think sometimes you think side hustle and you have to be really creative
Yeah.
and start your own business.
No,
But
it
I
doesn't
know,
have to
like,
be
my
that.
brother-in-law drove Uber
Yeah.
Right.
a couple of evenings a
Yeah.
week
Yeah.
for a while.
Now you have to have the right
and
car.
Now they're very
Yes,
successful.
You have to have a new car.
My little
Right,
09 Corolla
okay,
wouldn't
yeah.
qualify for
Oh,
Uber.
okay. I didn't know
Uber
that.
Eats. Uber Eats.
I didn't
Yes,
know that.
Uber Eats.
There
That's
you
good.
go.
You can go on a bike in the city. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You can definitely.
But like, there's things like that where, yeah, you're not having
Yeah.
to create
Yeah,
the
no.
Yeah.
income yourself. You're just working
that
a few extra hours,
opportunity. Yeah.
doing something different. Yeah.
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 I would say number 8 would be fight for your family.
Okay.
We're Christians, so we pray. But we need to make sure that we're fighting together, not
Yeah.
not against each
Not
other.
against, yeah.
We're fighting for, not against.
Yeah.
And so that's really important. And part of the fight is staying disciplined to the budget. It's a fight to stay disciplined.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I wrote here, if you make a mistake, don't make 2.
Yep. Yep, don't do
Isn't
it
that
again.
so
Yeah.
true, actually?
If you
Yeah.
blow it, if you're like, oh, it's just awful, and we're gonna go put this
Yeah.
on the credit card,
Yeah.
don't put 2 things on the credit
No,
card.
just do the one.
Yeah.
If you need a
Yeah.
new washing machine and you're absolutely stuck and there's nothing
Yeah.
you can do about it, I've bought a secondhand washing machine
Yeah.
off Marketplace, and that lasted like 3 months.
Yep.
So, again, when you buy cheap, it does bite you
It works
sometimes.
cheap. Yeah.
So we went and put it on the credit card,
Yeah.
but then don't put the couch on the credit
no.
card, and don't get the
Yes.
TV.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
And
it.
don't Harvey Norman's having a deal.
Yeah.
Harvey Norman's always having a
Doesn't
deal.
make it free,
Set.
guys.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
Yeah.
don't let it snowball.
Yeah.
Don't keep piling up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're stuck and you need to slip
Yeah.
up, well, just don't slip up twice.
Yeah. And it sounds like you asked for help multiple times as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
You know, I think some people are embarrassed about their finances,
Yeah.
so they just try and figure it out themselves.
I didn't ask for a lot of family help.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
So you go to the professionals.
Yes.
But
That's
even
all right.
still, I don't think a lot of people would go, okay, money's tight. Let's go see a financial advisor.
Totally.
I don't think
Yeah.
a lot of people would
well,
do
even as a
that.
church, we offer a budgeting course
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a
Yeah.
year, and Brad is phenomenal with
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
He's on the conservative end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we call it budgeting.
Yeah.
But Brad
yeah.
Brad is probably one of the best men I know with money, and him and
Yeah.
Carly work as a team,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's all free.
There's resources.
great.
It's free.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
and not only that, but Brad would spend extra time with you, tutoring you
That's
if
Yeah.
you needed.
good.
Yeah.
Great, we got the thing. We've
Yeah.
gone home. We wrote it out.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, talk to us about the next step. Brad's the most generous guy on the earth. He would help you,
Yeah.
mate. I would help you if
Yeah.
it, because I just know what a pain
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah. So cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we like to wrap up our podcast by hearing from everyone their favorite parenting hack. So
Yeah.
it can be
James, what
a
is
habit or a routine or a product or something that has helped your family run more smoothly.
Yes.
All right.
Not
so,
budgeting.
So yes, not in the
Other
area of
than
money. I would say train them young.
Okay.
Train them young.
Like in behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how a 2-year-old can operate an iPad,
Yeah. Facts.
but a
yeah.
2-year-old cannot operate a dishwasher.
That's a good point.
It's a few less buttons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
okay.
you don't always
I mean,
trust
I'm not
your
gonna give them
2-year-old.
the glasses.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me break this down. But kids are smarter than we think.
Yeah.
And I've got a good buddy who said to me, James, my kid is 15 years old, and he yells at me and even swears at me every time I ask him to unload the
Oh, no.
dishwasher.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that seems off.
Yeah.
And I said, how long have you been asking him to do the dishwasher? Oh, just kind of over the last 12 months. So you didn't ask your kid until he was 14 years
Yeah.
old to do the dishwasher.
Yep.
Mate,
Yep.
my kids are doing the dishwasher. They're doing the bottom rack of the dishwasher at 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being 9 years old with yellow rubber gloves on, cleaning the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a proficient toilet cleaner at 9 years old.
Yeah.
My mum worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all pitched in, mate.
That's what you did.
So I think
Do you feel
laundry.
like families are like tending away from that?
Yeah. I feel like
Well, you can't have a mother and a father working while the kids bludge.
no.
Yeah.
So it's like now I don't make my kids cook dinner.
Yeah.
I know some families are at the point where they're like
Yeah.
they involve their children with that.
Yeah.
But for us, I personally like mowing the yard, so I've never got my kids.
Yep.
But my
Yeah.
kids wash the car.
Yeah.
There are things that they can do to contribute to the family, and I do not give them pocket money.
Yeah. It's
It's
just
an
contributing.
expectation.
It is part of
We
being with
all
the
help.
family.
Yeah. Great.
Makes sense. Like when you move out of home, no one's going to go, here's $5. Good job doing the dishes. Woo.
I do the groceries, but I have never unloaded the car from the groceries.
Oh, wow.
Kids do it.
We pull into the driveway and we give 2 hoots on the on the horn, and the servants come out and they
Okay.
do,
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's one
Yeah.
of the worst
That's
jobs
good.
is counting everything inside.
and they know where it all goes,
Yeah.
and they even know. I've
Yep.
trained them
Yeah.
that with the new milk,
Yeah.
if there's milk in the fridge, you put the new milk in the
Yeah.
back, and you put
Yeah.
the old milk at the front.
Oh.
So we're using it
well-trained.
by date.
Wow.
Yeah.
Their future spouses.
And so
will
train
love
them young.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like we buy rubber gloves, and they can go do dog poo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get them involved.
Yeah.
Get them feeding the chickens or feeding
Yeah.
the dog. I've never fed my dog.
Yep.
My kids
Great.
do that.
Yeah, cool.
Great.
And I'm not talking about child labor, but I am talking about everybody has responsibilities to
Yeah,
help.
of course.
We go and work our tails off for the family. So do you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just convenient for yourself and Paula to have that happen, but it's so helpful for them when they leave the home
Yeah.
that they have a realistic
Oh,
idea
totally.
of what-
Paula had never like cleaned a toilet until we got married.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember being a 23-year-old first-time husband teaching
Yeah.
my wife how to clean a toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shock
wow.
to the system. Yeah.
Also, I think kids like it. They like being involved.
Totally.
I often give my eldest two a job, and my 4-year-old will be like, what do I have to do, Mum? Because I've only given
They
them-
like it
Yeah.
because
I've
your
only
kids are
given-
young.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but you
True,
start
but they
when-
start when they like
start
it.
when they
Right.
like that.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
My kids don't like it,
Okay.
but
yeah.
they know,
But they do it.
and they do it out of duty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even out of obligation.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things I do for
Yeah.
them out of obligation,
Of course.
not because I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
cool.
really awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming. I know that so many people get a lot out of this because I feel like the current conversation point right now is things are tight.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of takeaways here that
Yeah.
people can implement in their own lives, and they'll be better off for listening to this podcast and listening to your story. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that, James. Thank
No
you.
worries. That's
Great.
good. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Ta. Well, that's all for this episode of the Strong Families podcast.
We are so glad you joined us for this chat. If you want to continue the conversation, you can find us on Instagram at strongfamilies.au or on Facebook. We would love to hear from you. Now, go enjoy your week, enjoy your family, and we'll join us again next week.
Cool. See you next time, guys.